So we have with us Shreya Krishnan, India head at Anita B. Org, is a dynamic leader driving inclusion and representation for women and non-binary technologists across the country. Her work champions equity, community building and transformative opportunities in technology. Welcome to our channel, ma'am.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
So first I'd like to know what's the core vision behind Grace Hopper Celebration India 25 and what do you hope participants, especially women early in their tech careers, take away from this edition?
I think for us, Unbound is the theme this year, and that's very close to my heart because we're always trying to live up to somebody else's expectations. We're always trying to live up to what society thinks success is. But have we really heard our inner voice, and have we really asked ourselves, what do we really want? What is our dream? What is something we want to chase? And I think in constantly seeking something from the outside, we're forgetting who we are in the inside. So I think my message to everybody young who's looking out to start off in a career, remember that your career will stay with you. Remember that it'll fuel you and that it's your purpose. And that when you have a career that you're loving and you're invested in, then you'll automatically grow so much as all of the other roles in your world and in your life.
Right, well said. So beautifully you have described this thing. So as AI rapidly transforms workplaces, what steps should organizations take to ensure that women and underrepresented groups are not left behind in AI readiness, skilling and leadership opportunities?
I think AI is all about participation. The data that machines are learning from right now is already problematic because there's so many biases in the system. So AI is a reflection of what we already have in the world, right? And all of that data is primarily, flawed because it tells you certain things that are problematic within the society and now moving, whether it's race, whether it's culture, whether it's caste, whether it's bias. AI has started imbibing these, and there are enough black box examples that will tell you how AI tends to not be entirely ethical in its behavior, and that's because of data sets. So I think it's very important to participate in the language of AI because AI representation of women is very low, it's in the 30%. So we need to increase that participation so the AI that's being built for this world starts speaking and behaving like the world and not like one segment of the world. So I think it's very important to participate in the building of it. It's important to create data sets that are neutral so that you can really create grassroots level change.
Right. So how can we build AI systems from data to deployment that are not only innovation but also inclusive, ethical and free from gender bias? And what role can platform like GHCI play in driving this shift?
I think the first thing is data and awareness, right? There are so many times that AI models have hired more men than women despite having gender blind resumes where AI doesn't know who the gender of the person applying is. And that's because AI is very smart. It's learned to find that women write their resumes differently from men. So it starts discriminating at that level. So you're not just at the surface level, but it's about really going deeper and having the awareness to identify what those problems could be. And I keep repeating this, you can never have responsible or ethical AI. You can have responsible and ethical people working with AI, building AI, creating AI, crafting AI. And I think that's a reminder to all of us. It's a tool that you hold and you wield, right? You can't tell the knife that you have to be accountable for whether you're chopping vegetables or taking a life, right? The knife is in your hands. The accountability is yours. So who are the people wielding this power? And I think that's a very important question to ask. And if you're not one of those people, make sure you have a seat at the table. If you don't have one, drag a chair, sit down, join the table and say, I'm here to be heard.
Right, that's so wonderful. Thank you so much for this insightful conversation.
Thank you so much.
And today we have with us Brenda Darden Wilkerson, a trailblazing leader in global tech equity and the president and CEO of Anita B. Org. A passionate advocate for access, inclusion and opportunity, she has championed pathways for women and non-binary technologists worldwide. Her vision continues to reshape how the world understands diversity in technology. Welcome to our channel, ma'am.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
So first of all, I'd like to know from your perspective what emerging trends in technology are creating the biggest opportunity for women and how is your organization preparing them to lead in these spaces?
Well, tech is always changing. And so part of what we do is make sure that the women have the opportunity to get trained, to have networking with all of the leaders, to see the example of what it means to be a trailblazer as technologies change. And so that's why we're so excited to be here in Bangalore to offer up the Grace Hopper celebration here in India. We're so excited to have a community of women who come together to actually learn together and to meet each other and to take those experiences back so that as things change, they have people who can share in those experiences with them and give them great advice as to what their next steps can be.
Right. So, your org has long advocated for systematic change in workplaces. So, what progress have you seen globally and specifically in Asia when it comes to building equitable tech ecosystem, and what gaps still need urgent attention?
Well, we've seen the numbers increase and the numbers of women in technology increase. And we credit that to the examples of great tech women who have shown the example of what it takes to be successful in tech. And for women really putting their back into learning all of the important technologies that will impact our world today and tomorrow. But there still is a gap. We know that women are still over 50% of the population. We know that they are populations whose needs and concerns are not represented in tech, and we think that that is especially critical as we move into the impact of AI on our world. We need to make sure that all voices are being used to train the LLMs that run the AI. We need to make sure that the solutions really fit the human condition that's necessary, because the whole purpose of tech is in service of humanity.
Right. So, as AI, cybersecurity, and sustainable computing rapidly reshape the global tech landscape, so what strategic role do you see women technologists playing in driving responsible and inclusive innovation?
Well, what I would like to see is for us to think of AI as more of augmented intelligence. I see women who have throughout time known how to balance multiple things and to really be successful at doing all the things that it means to be a woman. Being able to be that voice that says, here's how the AI can augment our intelligence. Here's how it can make our world a place that is more livable, and how we can still have lifestyle at home, right? So we can use the AI to help us do the things that need to be done, not replace us. And I believe our voice is uniquely capable to be able to enter that conversation and to define it.
True. So, what does equitable innovation mean to you, and how can organizations like yours, along with global tech communities, ensure that innovation benefits are distributed fairly across gender, race, and socioeconomic lines, rather than reinforcing existing inequalities?
That's why equity is so important. The fact that there are so many of our voices that are not at the table, where we're not included in the product design, where we're not included in the decisions that are important that have to be made in terms of which products are released, what gets funded, that is part of the inequity. And so having women at the table, again, who've experienced what it takes to run whole portions of our societies, to have them there where we're deciding which products to fund, which ones to push forward, and which ones to put on the back burner is critical to what happens next. And with AI, things are happening so quickly, we must have our voices at the table where those decisions are made.
Well said, madam. So across the world, government, industry bodies are reshaping, new policies around AI ethics, data governance, digital inclusion, and workforce skilling. So how can women technologists influence these policy conversations, and what role is your org playing in ensuring their perspective are represented in national global tech policy frameworks?
The women being at the table is critical, and their voice, their ability, their desire to speak up and say, had you considered this? Had you thought about that? What about these people over here that are not in this equation? Is what's going to slow us down from some of the decisions that are being made that will impact us for decades. And so the voice is why we're here. We want to let women know that they have a voice. Sometimes it's we don't realize the voice that we have and how critical critical it is. We've been told that we're only certain portions of society that we impact, and it's just not true. And so once that truth is out, then we have the ability to speak up in those rooms and be in those places where those decisions are made and make a difference. It will make a difference. We've seen that historically with women in tech and women in science, women in business. And so we're here to make sure that it happens at this really critical, disruptive time in tech.
Right, madam. Thank you so much for this insightful conversation. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure.
Thank you.